Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. In our previous video, we covered how to install Elasticsearch on Linux and explore its basic functionalities like creating indexes and searching data. In today's video, we are going to take up a notch by integrating Apache Kafka with Elasticsearch for real-time data streaming and indexing. We will cover the entire workflow from streaming data through Kafka to indexing and querying it in Elasticsearch. So here is a quick overview of what we will learn today. First, setting up a Kafka producer to stream data from a CSV file to Kafka topic. Second, creating a Kafka consumer to read this data and index it into Elasticsearch. And third is verifying the indexed data using Elasticsearch queries. So let's get started and see how it all works together. Before we get to the code, let's understand the workflow. Kafka producer read data from a CSV file and send each row to a Kafka topic. Then Kafka consumer listen to that topic and index the data into Elasticsearch. And finally, we verify the data by querying Elasticsearch. Before writing any code, we need to make sure Zookeeper and the Kafka server are running. So to start Zookeeper, let's first open a terminal. And to start the Zookeeper, just type zookeeper -server-start.sh space $kafka_home/config/zookeeper.properties. Now to start a Kafka server, let's open new terminal. And just type Kafka-server-start.sh space $kafka_home/config/server.properties. Once both services are up and running, we are ready to move on to writing our Kafka producer. Here we are going to write and understand a Kafka producer script that reads data from CSV file and stream it into a Kafka topic. Before writing a code, we need to make sure our Elasticsearch up and running. You can see our Elasticsearch up and running. Now let's move towards the code. Now we are going to write a Kafka producer script that read data from a CSV file and send each row to a Kafka topic. This is a crucial steps in setting up real-time data pipelines. I will explain the code as we write it. So let's jump right in. To begin, we need to import the required libraries. So first we import the CSV module to read data from a CSV file. Then we import Kafka producer from the Kafka library, which allow us to send data to Kafka. And lastly, we import the JSON library to convert our data into JSON format before sending it. Now that we have the libraries imported, now let's create an instance of the Kafka producer. We need to specify the Kafka server details and how the data will be serialized. We set the bootstrap servers parameter to localhost:9092, which is the default address for Kafka running locally. And the value serializer parameter converts the data to JSON format and then encodes it to a byte using UTF-8, which is required for Kafka to send the data correctly. Next, we need to read the data from a CSV file. In this example, we are using a file named data.csv. To read the file, we use the open function in read mode and create a csv.dictReader object. The dictReader reads each row as a dictionary where the keys are the column headers from the CSV file. This makes it easier to work with the data in our script. Now that we have the CSV data ready, we will send each row to a Kafka topic named csv_topic. We use a for loop to iterate over each row in the CSV file. For each row, we call the producer.send method, specifying the topic name and the data to be sent. We also print a confirmation message to console using print function to keep track of the data being sent. Finally, we need to ensure that all the messages are sent before the script exists. Kafka producers buffer message before sending them in batches to improve performance. To make sure everything is sent, we call producer.flush function. This command forces the producer to send any messages that are still in the buffer. Before we run the script, ensure that the Zookeeper and the Kafka server are running. Once both services are up and running, execute the script. You should see each row from the CSV being sent to the Kafka topic. Now let's move to the Kafka consumer script. We are going to write a Kafka consumer that reads data from a Kafka topic and indexes it into Elasticsearch for querying and analysis. This is a crucial part of building real-time data pipelines. I will explain each part of the code. First, we will import Kafka consumer from the Kafka module, which help us read message from Kafka topic. Next, we import Elasticsearch from Elasticsearch module, which allows us to connect to our Elasticsearch cluster and index data. And lastly, we import the JSON module to handle the deserialization of our Kafka messages. Now that we have the libraries imported, the next step is to create a Kafka consumer instance. The Kafka consumer is responsible for reading messages from specific Kafka topic. In this case, we will be consuming data from a topic named csv_topic. We specify the Kafka broker address using Bootstrap server, which means our Kafka server is running locally on port 9092. And the auto offset reset equals to earliest parameter ensure that if the consumer has no previous offset, it starts reading from the beginning of the topic. And lastly, we use value deserializer to convert the incoming byte data into Python dictionary by deserializing it from JSON format. Once our Kafka consumer is set up, the next step is to connect to Elasticsearch. We will create an instance of the Elasticsearch client. Here we connect to the Elasticsearch server running on localhost at port 9200 using the HTTP protocol. This client will allow us to index the data we consume from Kafka into an Elasticsearch index for querying. Now let's write the core part of our script. We will consume messages from the Kafka topic and index them into Elasticsearch. We do this by looping through the messages received by the consumer. For each message, we extract its value, which is dictionary represent a row of data. We then print the consumed data to the console for confirmation. After that, we use the es.index method to index the data into an Elasticsearch index named csv_data. And the document parameters specify the data we want to index. And finally, we print a confirmation message to indicate that the data has been successfully indexed into Elasticsearch. Now let's run the Kafka consumer script and see it in action. You should see each message being consumed and indexed into Elasticsearch. Now to verify if the data is indexed in Elasticsearch, run this command curl space -x space get space in double quotation http://localhost:9200/csv_data, which is my index name, /_search and pretty. Enter. As you can see, the data from Kafka is now indexed in Elasticsearch and ready for queuing. So that's it for today. In this video, we covered how to create Kafka producer to stream data from a CSV file, setting up a Kafka consumer to index data into Elasticsearch, and third is verifying the indexed data in Elasticsearch. So thank you for watching and see you in the next video with next topic.